You sneak around back to your room in the inn, avoiding all eyes and laughing together like horny teenagers, which in your case is pretty much true. This man is amazing. He stops you in the cold to push you firmly against the building and kiss you there, breathless and hot. Heat. That's the word. Fire in his every action. His firm fingers sliding along your hips. His fervid tongue exploring your mouth. The hard press of him through his trousers. He pins your arms dominantly above your head with one hand while the other moves beneath your skirt until you're nearly crying out, and he's watching your face, flush in pleasure. His fingers are clever, long and white, and you suck one into your mouth as soon as you stumble into the warmth of your room. The noises he makes are incredibly sexy, all testosterone and desire, and he watches you intently with those incisive black eyes, a crease between his brows. He groans as your wet lips pop over his knuckle, as your tongue caresses his fingertip. He's otherwise quite stoic and silent, so these reactions are extremely gratifying. Then he pulls you close, his breath heavy in your ear, and his fingers move to your shirt, sliding beneath, hands spread fully along your abdomen. You're topless in a matter of seconds, and the man pushes you down on the bed to look at you. When he kneels down over you and you grind yourself against him, his eyebrows furrow a little, like he's irritated by his own desire. But in another second, he's greedily filling his hands with you, and his mouth comes next, tongue sweeping over your nipple. His hands dip between your thighs, sliding under a layer of lace. Clever and skilled, and peculiarly detail-oriented. He works up a rhythm with his licking and caressing, so that before he's even removed his jacket, you've experienced earth-shattering pleasure and are laying on the bed in only underwear, trying to catch your breath. He hovers silently over you, watching you intently as the wave of post-orgasmic warmth breaks. You sigh contentedly and meet his black eyes, fully intending to tell him how amazing that was. But he beats you to it. "Good girl," he says, a little breathless, and you raise your eyebrows at the authority in his tone, though you can't deny it turns you on. You almost shoot back a sarcastic, "Thank you, Daddy," but you bite your tongue. All the same, the man smirks, as if he can hear your thoughts. Then he takes your hands and places them over your head. "You're a beautiful creature, aren't you?" he muses lowly, almost to himself, his eyes on your body. "Severus," you whisper, and his gaze flicks up to your face, eyes narrowing wickedly. Both of you know it means more, please. He still has it, by gods. It's been years, but he still has it. Truthfully, Snape is a bit anxious about the main event, simply because of the length of time between this and his last. So he's determined to give you as much pleasure as he can. Off to a good start, all things considered. But after he pushes you to your knees and you undress him, there's a horrifying moment when he isn't sure if there will be a main event at all. He has to back away, breathing heavily, and try to explain in slurs, and between the pounding of his blood that your mouth feels too good. So he decides to use his mouth on you. You taste as sweet as raspberries, and the moans coming from you would make any decent human blush. You have a savage streak, he thinks, something unbound and feral, something fascinating in the arch of your body and the fire of your eyes. He wasn't lying when he called you beautiful or a creature. There's something wild in you. When he pulls you on top of him as he lays on the bed, you straddle his skinny hips, and Snape wonders momentarily where his shirt has gone to. He makes an involuntary movement to cover his dark mark with the bedclothes, not wanting to see the look of horror he knows will come, but you're paying very little attention to his forearms. Your face is nuzzled in the crook of his neck, your tongue doing wicked things. But would you still do them if you knew the things he's done? You seem to like a bit of danger, but real danger isn't as sexy as people think it is. Then your lips and tongue and fingertips burn away that thought, and all the rest of them, until he's bucking at you in desperation, pulling your hair and growling your name. He makes up his mind to just toss you onto your knees and take you from behind when you finally lower onto him and he lets out a deep groan of pleasure. You start to rock, to ride, one hand grasping your breast, the other firm on his chest. Snape groans, unable to have any thoughts besides you. Your tight, supple warmth, the way your breasts sway, the flushed red of your cheeks, the lust and pleasure in your eyes as they gaze straight into his face. Gods, gods, gods. He hears you cry out his name and clench, whimpering as you ride and come simultaneously. He's 30 seconds behind, his pleasure explosive and overwhelming. Gods, he sees stars, and when his vision clears a bit, there are still white bursts at the corners of his eyes. Gasping and sweaty, you collapse onto him, and he goes limp against you. He strokes the soft skin of your arm as your breathing goes deep and steady. Snape can't remember the last time he felt so good, so satisfied, so tired. So tired. His finger hovers in the air, poised before one last sweep against your arm. But it never completes its movement. Instead, it goes limp and drops to the soft bed, useless and heavy now. With your wonderful weight against him, Snape closes his eyes and sleeps like a baby.